especially when that girl is you.
Let's do this, Dee! You go, Moon Girl! Do your thing! Moon Girl magic!
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation.
And today we are covering the comic book series of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur and how it compares to the animated series.
Yes, and this comic series was the inspiration for the animated Moon Girl series on Disney Channel. And while that show made a lot of changes, great changes to fit the series better, let's dive into the original comics to see what crazy stories were and weren't adapted.
Right.
But
before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and go get to us our future podcasts and other Paws videos.
and thank you so much for joining us today, subscribing, sharing our videos, and commenting. We hope you're enjoying superhero and everything you do. We appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes. So, we actually got a request to do this a while back when we were covering certain DC comics and Marvel comics. And at one point we covered the first season and the pilot of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur animated.
And our top 5 favorite episodes
Right.
from season 1.
Right. So we got a request that asked us to cover the original comics because they said that they feel like not many people know they exist, but maybe it'll get some more attention now with the cartoon out. And now it's been out quite a while. The TV series ended with 2 seasons. We're hoping it gets a movie to finish off the story. But we really wanted to talk about the comics themselves because we actually read them after the first season of the show.
Yes. And we are glad that we got to read the comics because, like Ironheart, this is a very different character. Unlike Ironheart, she was likable in the show.
Pretty much, yeah.
And we'll get to why and what differences made it a very good decision to change her in the animated series.
Right.
But for those of you not familiar with Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, it's a superhero comic book series published by Marvel Comics featuring Lunella Lafayette, or Moon Girl, and her sidekick Devil Dinosaur as the main protagonist. And she's a 9-year-old inhuman girl
Supposed to be,
who's
yeah.
described as the smartest character in the Marvel Universe. And yes, it's like they created her to be smarter than Artemis Fowl.
Right,
Poo-poo.
and Tony Stark.
And a
all the
dinosaur
others.
with whom she shares a mental link. Now, the comics were written by Brendan Montclair and Amy Reeder, and primarily drawn by Natasha Bustos. And the series is a direct sequel to Moon Boy and Devil Dinosaur,
That's
written
correct.
by Jack Kirby.
That's correct.
The series lasted 47 issues from November 2015 to September 2019.
Right.
But there wasn't one every month.
Not
They were
this time.
spaced.
Yeah. And it was a relatively short series. Even we read the comics from the library. There weren't that many volumes to go along with it. It had a set amount of issues. It told a story, and that was it. They didn't try to connect it to anything bigger unless they wanted to have a bit of a crossover more than just a few characters like Spider-Man used to do. And at the time we read it, like we said, only season 1 of the show was out. But you could tell what they adapted from the comics and what they left out. And one big thing is that the original Moon Boy character was seemingly killed off in the comics to make room for the new Moon Girl, as if out with the old and with the new. Some saw this as an insult,
Disney,
and
yes.
we can understand why.
Yeah.
And then with this new girl character, she came off as the complete opposite and the more modern update of a character to have Devil Dinosaur be paired with. And for the comic itself, to be completely honest, she wasn't that likable.
She wasn't likable
us.
at all. I'm sorry.
Yes.
She was not. It was interesting stories.
Yes.
And interesting concept and things that kept you reading, but she was not likable.
Right.
She was a jerk to everyone she
Very
met,
much so.
especially the superheroes, because she kept telling them she was smarter and better.
Pretty much.
Including Spider-Man.
Yes, very much so. When they include the other superheroes, just for the crossover, it was just like, oh, you're so slow. You didn't figure this out before. And it's a very condescending tone. And at first we thought she starts off this way and she learns to improve and get better and not be so arrogant. No, she just is proven right the entire series. And that was part of the problem with it. When you got to the cartoon, She is a very likable, upbeat personality. And there's a lot of times where she is wrong and has to learn and learns the lesson by the end, and it carries into other episodes, not just like, Booey, I don't remember that. So we do like that change, and we can probably see why this affected more people reading the comic who didn't already love it from the start.
And her design is also different. In the comic, she's shorter and she's chubbier.
A little bit.
She still has the 2 puffs most of the time, and she has the glasses, and she has what we considered nerd clothing in the comic, whereas they made her more stylish and fashionable for the type of music and things they were having in the series. And she had different hairstyles, not just one.
Yes.
And they made her taller and thinner. And again, she was adorable.
Yes.
You had to like the Lunella of the series.
Right.
But the Lunella of the comics just wasn't likable. And you wonder why anyone would write and create characters that were like this that would generally not be liked.
And I think because at the time, and we're going to include Devil Dinosaur in this too, because his personality is also different in the TV show where they actually say they want him to be more like a best friend rather than the pet that she ordered around. And when we saw, we understood what they were saying. The dynamic in here is that they're supposed to be a duo, but it does come off as more she tells him what to do, and he does it because he's a dinosaur.
He's her pet, really.
Yeah, and it's like we can now understand they're more like besties in the TV show and more friendly, which was a good improvement.
And speaking of besties, they gave her one, as Disney always does,
with
in the
Casey.
series with Casey.
Yeah, she did not have one in here. She had some kids she knew and she talked to. But she really didn't have a BFF or anything. She was kind of by herself.
It was impossible for her to have one the way she behaved in the comics. No one could stand her for 5 minutes.
They had Eduardo in here, who they actually kept for the animated series. Only in that case, they made him a potential love interest, which people were really on board with for some reason. I was so surprised to see. And it made him a little more likable, too, and not just the guy that annoys her all the time. And again, we wish there was more development for her in the story, because she still has both parents and 2 sets of grandparents
which
extended.
was happy, happy addition instead of the usual take out one of them, or make them living alone on their own.
We love that they still had a family. Both parents and extended family will come in towards the end of the book. But the thing is, she is distant towards them, and she doesn't learn. No matter what character she comes in contact with, superhero, villain, human or animal, meta human, I know that's DC, but I'm using it here, or regular human, she has the same attitude towards everybody, cosmic threat or regular. Her attitude's the same, and I think that hurts the comic because you have all these different characters where you like them or not, and Lunella stays the same the entire time. The only interesting part is that they have a quote by famous people in each story that's supposed to coincide with the theme of the arc.
True. And I think we both thought that they did this because, as you know, Disney owns Artemis Fowl, the rights to the stories, the crappy movie they made. And at that point in time, Artemis was pretty much the smartest kid known around pop culture, in books and writing.
Even more than Jimmy Neutron.
And then someone decided, you know what, we need to make a girl that's smarter, which was stupid. And then we need to make her a year younger, so she's smarter a year younger than him, which was also stupid. Because if you've read Artemis Fowl, there were females in there that were just as smart as him, and one who actually wanted to date him. So this was just kind of, okay. So they made this world, and they made her the mini queen of it.
Pretty much.
And she's not likable. And she's very similar to Ironheart's character in her comics. And I don't know why. Was this a trend where they were making younger females that just were supposed to be strong, independent, unlikable, and all this other stuff?
You're right. At the time this was out.
You see what happened to Ironheart in the live action series. They aged her up, made her a criminal, made her definitely unlikable. No morals, no values. Didn't like it. Sorry, guys. If you like it, that's great. But we did not care for the series, but we did like the comics. Now, for this, we liked the comics, but we didn't like the character. But we absolutely adore Lunella in the animated series.
Exactly. And the storylines they do in here aren't bad. They do really fun ones where she meets Doctor Strange. She meets Amadeus Cho, which I'm actually glad they didn't put in the cartoon because he's just another addition that they didn't need. She meets Kamala Khan, who's like the only character she respects for whatever reason. She says she's more powerful and control. Okay, sure, if you say so. They even have I think Melvar in here, the original version here, who was actually meant to be more of a nuisance, who wasn't much of a threat, and got a huge upgrade in the TV show. And we ship him and Lunella because they were so adorable. I love them. And a lot of the adventures had to do with Inhumans, mutants, or aliens, and it was really stuff that was out there and things that the Avengers or even the X-Men didn't deal with, which is something they carried over into Moon Girl because they do imply that it is canonical to the MCU. It's just something that doesn't have to be connected immediately.
Right, and there were a few stories that we read that were adapted for the series.
Yes. And one of their favorites being the sleepover episode.
Yes.
And they added in the element of the body swap from another arc and combined it together. And that is one of our favorite episodes. And it was actually funny in the book, and they made it funnier in the TV show because no one else knew what was happening but the audience. And it worked out very, very well. And you met a cast of characters that didn't have to be connected to the Avengers and other big groups. You were meeting smaller characters and ones that could fit being specifically to Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur and having these very, I guess, kid-like imaginative adventures.
Yes. And we also didn't mention in the TV version, she's 13. They aged her up a
little bit, yes.
And as you mentioned, she has the grandparents and the parents and the best friend. Also, this character appears in the Lego Marvel Avengers Mission Demolition, voiced by Diamond White.
Yes, they keep
and
the voice
in the
actress.
Spidey and His Amazing Friends episode, Moon Girl and the Dino Dilemma, voiced again by Diamond White.
Yes.
So this particular version of her from this series has become canonical.
Yes.
And I'm very glad that was more canonical than the one in this
comic.
book.
Exactly.
Because if she had been as she was in this book, I never would watch the series.
Exactly.
I just never would have watched it. Now, that being said, the artwork is fantastic in the comics.
We love
Absolutely
the covers
fantastic.
and the artwork. Yes.
Great covers.
And I like that it was carried into the TV show where it has these really bright, dynamic colors and shapes, and every character looks unique. They really kept that as a focus in here so everyone looks different from each other. Now, there is one huge difference that the show tackles, and they do bring in parts of reality in there, having to do with one big one in the first season was gentrification, and things having to do with the different communities, like a city community or groups of people that look similar to you, and they carry that into the show. The original comic didn't really do that. It was more based in science, and proven science was the be-all, end-all. You might agree or disagree with it depending on what you see and what you really focus on. And I will say that that might be something good or bad depending on how you look at it, because the show made it feel a little more fleshed out by having to focus on the NES, while the comic just made it more of just an element that crazy things happen that they don't know about. Like it was a magnet for weird happenings. So I do like that they improved on that.
So the collected editions were BFF in order of release. BFF, Cosmic Cooties, The Smartest There Is, Girl Moon, Fantastic 3, Save Our School, Bad Dream, Yancey Street Legends, The Beginning, Full Moon, Bad Buzz, Place in the World, and then Menace on Wheels, which was released as a brief relaunch in 2023 to tie in with the series.
Right.
That's why there's a different cover than the original cover.
Correct. And again, the covers are fantastic. Even if they don't look like the TV show, they still stand out on their own.
True. Now, another reason I think that she was created to make her the smartest, smarter than any man
At
or
the time,
boy
yeah.
or any other child, especially male, is that she got some accolades from different places, and it was always smartest girl. For example, in 2020, Scary Mommy included Moon Girl in their Looking for a Role Model. These
yeah.
195 plus Marvel female characters are truly heroic. In 2021, Comic Book Resources, or CBR, ranked Moon Girl first in their Marvel 10 Smartest Female Characters list.
Yeah.
2022, Collider ranked Moon Girl second in their 10 Smartest Marvel Universe Geniuses list.
Yeah,
And the same year, Screen Rant ranked her in the 15 Smartest Characters in the Marvel and the 10 Smartest Marvel Heroes.
Yes, pushing down Tony Stark and other characters.
And last, in the same year, CBR ranked Moon Girl first in their 10 Smartest Marvel Scientists list, second in their 10 Smartest Tech Power Heroes list, and 10th in their 10 Inhumans who should join the Avengers list. So
yeah,
the goal, the whole point Disney wanted to make was to make her smarter than anyone else.
And check off the boxes yet again.
Yeah.
We're just grateful that the TV show was doing more than just checking a box.
Yeah.
They were telling a story, showing representation, having different lessons and everything.
And a lot of the episodes were great episodes. Season 1 was better than Season 2 in our opinion.
Personally, yeah.
Yes. Season 1 was near perfect. Season 2 had some issues, and then we learned it was being canceled, which made sense that there were issues, because it looks like they were just trying to get them out and get her off air.
Exactly.
And you never learned what the real reason was for her being canceled. It didn't make sense.
Yeah, they never did.
But now they've got a show called Hey AJ.
Like
they couldn't have more than one young female brown character on at a time. I don't know what's going on with you, Disney.
Oh,
but
my
Moon Girl
gosh.
should have never been canceled.
Right.
They could have both existed on the same network. They're not in the same universe.
Right.
If you guys know the truth as to why the show was canceled, please let us know in the comments below.
Right. And one more thing we would like to, well, at least I would like to bring up, you might have something else, is that the endings are pretty different from each other too. The comic itself kind of ends on a rather normal tone. Like after all of the craziness in the final arc and having her small weird band of misfit friends together, they defeat the greater enemy that's only focused on the NES, keep in mind.
Yeah.
And she does kind of reflect on the end, is like, well, she doesn't have to keep being by herself and only doing things by herself or just Devil Dinosaur. She can contact other people and friends and things. She does learn that by the end. She still has the sort of arrogance in there, but you can tell there's like, well, she's gonna think about not having to do this as the first instinct, and we do like that. We just wish that they had done more with these stories in the comics. Now, for the TV show, this is not a spoiler because the show has been over for a little while.
Yeah.
They end the series with a similar fashion where all the friends and allies she's made throughout the 2 seasons come together and help her save the NES altogether from the tirade of bad guys. She's recruited by Nick Fury from the regular MCU, and they basically confirm that she's going to be part of S.H.I.E.L.D. and be part of the MCU for real life. And it ends on a sort of slightly bittersweet thing where she's not going to be in the NES anymore. She's going to help protect the world like the other superheroes. And they leave it on a sort of open note where we could go back to her and see another adventure of her, but they still leave other things behind. That being said, that means that the character is canonical to the MCU, and it makes you question who's going to play her in live action.
And please don't age her up.
Yeah,
please don't make her an adult
Who
like
are they
you
gonna
did
have play her?
Ironheart. Don't do that crap.
Exactly, because now we've ended the show. We can't see any of the Avengers unless they return to the show or she shows up in a movie or one of the 50 other Disney Plus shows they got for the different characters. We won't see this character again. So both endings feel slightly unsatisfying in those regards.
She appears in video games.
Right.
As an unlockable playable character in Marvel Future Fight, also in Marvel Avengers Academy, also as Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 as an unlockable character, and she also appears in Marvel Snap. She also makes cameo appearances in web series.
Some shorts too.
Web Slingers, The Spider-Man Adventure, Avengers Campus, and Disney Channel web videos. So you're going to see her a lot, just not in the show that should have never gone off. That show should have still been on now.
Pretty much, yeah.
So quickly, the main characters of the comic that were made regular appearances, and then you can match them up with the actors from the series on your own if you've watched the series. Of course, Moon Girl, Lunella Lafayette, Devil Dinosaur, Moon Boy,
Yes.
Devil Dinosaur's original partner.
Great. Yeah,
And
he was cut out.
initially killed by the killer folk,
Yeah, and that's
but
what
was
we
saved
yeah.
via time travel.
Right.
Audrey Lafayette and James Lafayette, her parents, Eduardo, Lunella's friend who we mentioned,
Yes.
and he claims to have seen Taylor Swift on Yancey Street.
We never see her actually in the
No.
comics, so we had to take your word for it.
And then you've got classmates Zoe and Ali, Miss Dominguez, her teacher, Coach Urbeck, the vendor,
Yes, pretty much.
Will, Tasha Thomas. And then the enemies in the comics are Killer Folk,
Mm-hmm.
Marvin Ellis, Mel Var, Kid Creep,
Yes.
who in
and
the,
Alley
as we,
later.
yes, Princess Fisk, the daughter of Kingpin,
Now she was excluded from the show altogether because they don't have Kingpin in here.
and OMG Olivia. She's a neat girl who's a direct descendant of the Kree that created the Inhumans and tries to mind control the populace.
That's right. They did have a storyline with that because they really were trying to have a sort of parallel to the Secret Invasion arc that's famous in the regular Avengers story and series.
Yes. So, this is worth reading if you've never read it. You should read the comic. If you've never seen this series, we definitely recommend you watch the series. Right now, we know it's only available on Disney Plus and Hulu. But
much.
if you can watch it, watch it. If you have an opportunity to get the comics from the library, do so. It's interesting. It's an engaging read, but don't expect to like Lunella because she's not anything like the girl that's in the animated series.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I think a large part of it had to do with Lawrence Fishburne.
Yes, who was in charge of the show.
Yeah, grateful that that's the direction they took because that series would have been off before the first season was over.
Exactly.
So, if you've read Moon Girl, any or all of the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur comics, let us know in the comments. Did you love it? Did you hate it? How did you like Lunella in the comics? How do you think she compares to the series?
Right.
And which version of her do you like better? What do you think of Devil Dinosaur? And what do you think of the enemies and the superhero appearances? Tell us what you think. If you have not read Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, you can buy it anywhere,
the whole thing's
including
completed.
on Amazon, and you can get them from your local library. And if you haven't seen the series, again, it's only available to watch on Disney Plus and Hulu. Read the comics and or watch the series. Come back and tell us what you think.
And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates with reviews for anime series, anime shows, and all things animation and comics.
Yes, and stay tuned for our coverage of season 2 of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur Superhero Month. We're finally going to get to it and share with you the highlights and some not so great moments from the second season that still deserve to be running now.
Right. So, thank you so much for watching Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainments. Thank you so much for subscribing, sharing your comments, joining us on podcasts. We appreciate everything you do. As always, you are special.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
Thought you knew. Genius inspiration overflow. Moon girl magic. Thought you knew.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? My man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Hit her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket, give it to